Good morning and welcome. Why is it that when you want to connect deeply with an individual, you look them in the eyes? When you're not so connected, you look away from the person. Maybe you look at some other part of the person. But where is the deeper connection is the eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. So if you want to just connect with some external aspect of the individual, so you'll look at some other aspect of them. But when you want to connect more deeply to the soul of the individual, you're going to look them in the eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul. So that's the eyes. What are the shoulders? What are the shoulders? Well, the shoulders are a connection between the front and the back of the individual, right? We have a front side. We have a face side. We have the eyes. So the face is the more inwardness of the individual. The eyes is more direct connection to the inside of the soul of the individual. And then we have our backside, right? When you are upset with somebody, you might give them your backside. You're not going to give them, the direct internal face-to-face, eye-to-eye contact because you're upset. You give them your backside, external side, if you will. Shoulders connect the two. Ever thought of that? Yeah. Okay. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We conclude the sixth essay today. And everything in our lives is exact and precise the way God creates it, with profound meaning and significance, as we will appreciate understanding this essay. We began yesterday the essay, and again, we concluded today with King David, who celebrated the return of the Ark of the Covenant that was held captive by the Philistines. Defeating the Philistines, it was returned. And he mistakenly forgot a law that the Ark of the Covenant has to be carried on the shoulders by Levites, which, by the way, happened to be one of them, at least in times of the Holy Temple, and not to put on a wagon as he did. And this was a punishment for him, that in the days of his need to connect with God and to be empowered by the Torah study that he learned that would give him strength, he referred to the Torah as a song that is a song that gives vitality to the world. that by a letter in the Torah, we can have mounds of different Jewish laws that are dependent on a very letter of the Torah, let alone a phrase of the Torah, right? And he extolled the Torah that it is the life force of the world. Think about it right now, folks. We're learning Torah. The Torah we're learning is the life force of the world. In fact, it is. Most people don't know that. Most people are not living with that. So King David lived with that profound idea that the world is pending on the teachings of the Torah, and therefore our study of it brings life, light, and holiness and godliness into the world. And yet for that, he gets punished to forget something, forget a law, a specific law of carrying the Ark of the Covenant on the shoulders. That's his punishment. So the first question, of course, what's so wrong with that the whole world is nullified to the teachings of the Torah? That's a pretty profound awareness, a pretty profound commitment to Torah, to recognize that our study of Torah is, pending on the life force of the world. Yet that's only the external aspect. You call them songs, you call them a quality of life. A song gives life, so the Torah gives life to the world. That is the hind part, the externality of the supernal thought of God in his divine wisdom. Wow. It's merely an external aspect of what Torah is, that it is the life-giving force of the world. So then what is Torah? The innermost core and depth of the supernal thought, the innermost core of the Torah, is the fact that it's utterly fused in one with the infinite of the Ein Sof. Torah is in a perfect unity with the infinite of God. That's what Torah is. Giving life is, so to speak, what it does, but not what it is. Right? So don't praise what it does, praise what it is. And not only that, what it does is infinitely of no account compared to what it is. Even though we would think, oh, what do you mean? Giving life to the world, vitality to the world. That's pretty awesome. Well, relative to God, well, before he created the world, there's nothing but him and his Torah, right? The world is sheer nothingness before that. It's not even, it's non-existent. Right, because the world's on existence after there is, that there is creation. But before creation, there is God and there is Torah. So the internal aspect of the Torah that is wholly united with God should not be lauded and praised as being an animating force of the world. Because relative to what it is, that's nothing. Now, this inward aspect of the Torah, no mortal heartfelt joy and delight. It's not a mortal thing because it's God's thing. It's God's heartfelt joy. It's like the king who delights in that which he delights of him. And therefore only God understands its way and knows its station and its quality through his self-knowledge. God is knowing him. He also knows Torah in its entirety, that it's one with him. This is concealed from us. We can't really experience it. It's the innermost dimension of God, the innermost dimension that cannot be experienced. God delights. He delights in it, in the Torah. He alone, as it is before him. That's the inverse of Torah. Okay. So what do we have from that exactly, except the unawareness of it, which is that itself is important. You know what we have from it? Because that innermost level of the Torah, that it's one with God, is what nurtures the Jewish soul. It nurtures our soul. That level that transcends creation, transcends the world, that the world is nothing, right? Is nothing compared to this level of Torah. It nurtures the Jewish soul, right? In other words, we're not nurtured by the externality of the life-givingness of the Torah. That's what the world is getting vitality from, the external aspect that it's giving life. That's what it does. But what is it? It's one with the infinite, nurtures the soul, the Jewish soul. Now, the truth is, the external aspect of Torah does bring us delight, right? Brings light to the world and to us. And Torah has both the inward and external aspect of it, right? It's got a front and a back side, if you will, right? Again, what's the front side? Is the fact that it's one with God, and that nurtures our soul, the oneness of God. And therefore, by learning Torah, what do we have from it? Nothing except oneness with God. That's the inner aspect. The external aspect is, wow, it's tantalizing, it's inspiring, it gives me life. That's external, though, right? King David is punished because he referred to Torah only to its external aspect, that it's life-giving. That's the hinder part of Torah. The fact that it merely gives life, animates the world, which is pretty awesome, but that's external aspect of the Torah. Therefore, he's punished with forgetfulness. Why forgetfulness? Because why do you forget something? Because whatever you experience is external. Because if you really experience something inwardly, you don't forget it. That's why, on the negative side, trauma, you don't forget. And if you mentally don't remember, your body keeps score. Your body got the trauma, and it's deeply embedded. So you may not physically, or you may not, but it's there. Point is that it's very deep. So forgetfulness means that whatever you experienced wasn't deep, and therefore you forgot it. Well, that's exactly what King David, he was relating to Torah in its externality, right? That it is life-giving to the world, life-giving vitality of the world. And what did he forget? Something specific. What did he forget? That the Ark of the Covenant is not to be put on the wagon to be brought back to the sanctuary, but it is meant to be carried on the shoulder. Well, what's the shoulder? The shoulder is the connection between front and back. In other words, to carry it on your shoulder, Torah needs to be carried on your shoulder, that you need to recognize of what is Torah. Of course, there's an external aspect of Torah, that it's life-giving. And that when you appreciate it, it's like, wow. But it needs to connect it to the front, meaning that's not what it is, that it's giving life. Because life is something much greater than life, and that's God himself. That through study of Torah, you're actually connecting to the core essence of the infinite of God himself. Period. Not, oh, and therefore it, no. It's an end in itself. That's what it means, internal. That's the internal aspect of the Torah. That we are able to connect to the infinite. And what kind of Torah is being carried in the Ark of the Covenant? Are the luchos, the tablets. Wow. And what are those tablets? They're written, the 10 Commandments. How are they written? Imagine, these are not a very good example, right? Carved, this is 10 Commandments, and you're reading it here. I am the Lord your God. And you turn it around, what's going to be the backside if it's carved through and through? You're going to see it backwards, right? You didn't. I'm the Lord your God was on the backside also. Obviously a miracle, right? But what does that mean? It means there was no backside to the Torah. The tablets that were in the Ark of the Covenant only had a front side. Why? Because it was expressing the true depth of what Torah is, perfectly one with the infinite of God. Not as a function of giving life, but a much greater thing than life itself, connection to the infinite of God, which is beyond life. And therefore, by carrying those tablets on the shoulder, right, carrying the Ark of the Covenant that is housing the tablets, you're taking that message, right, and connecting the external aspect of the human condition, which is, to experience, means to an end, to experience, to see and feel the divine, which is wonderful, and to appreciate how the Torah, every letter is, bringing mounds of Jewish law that now dictate on how you fulfill a mitzvah. And by the study of the Torah and the fulfillment of the mitzvah, we actually bring down the light of God into this world, and gives life. But most importantly, that's all backside, external. Carrying the shoulders to bring it to the front side, that we should be connected to the inwardness of Torah. The inwardness of Torah is not a means to an end, but an end in itself. Connection to the Ein Sof of Hashem, to the infinite of God. To what end? for connection. That's the end. That's beyond this world. Human condition is everything has to be a means to something, to gain something, to have something more. Not to say that this is not more, but it's not about the desire of more. It's just the desire of that connection, period. That's the depth of what Torah is. Extremely powerful. If you got this, folks, shouldn't be sitting in your skin right now. Probably making cartwheels. Wow. The profundity here is like every detail of the story is like so precise, so unbelievable, so meaningful. All right. Do we have any questions? When Mashiach comes, will we be connected to Torah than we are now? Will we be carrying the Torah on our... So this, what we just described in the times of Mashiach, will be absolutely, we will sense and appreciate the internal connection, the inward connection through Torah, through mitzvahs that we do that are for that purpose of just the connection to Hashem. Tanya is better than studying psychology, Victoria says. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Psychology is the external. This is the internal, oneness of Hashem. Okay. I don't see any other questions. Folks, this Thursday will be a conclusion of the 5 books of Tanya, and then we will restart Friday anew. If I can make a request of everybody. Well, I'm just putting it out there. Those who will commit to learning Tanya every day for the next cycle, and to try to reach one friend to study. You can't commit for another, obviously, but at least to reach out to one person. I'm writing into the Rebbe to give the good news of who will be committed to learn every day. Now, learning every day means if you can't make it live, you can learn afterwards at any time. This class, and even if it's not this class, as much as, of course, I'd love to have you every day here live or afterwards that you follow. That's wonderful. But the most important thing is that you are learning on a daily basis, having that connection, having the, that deep connection. And so for those who are going to do that, and I want your name. If you're Jewish, I want your Jewish name and your mother's Jewish name. If you're not Jewish, then give me your name and your father's name. Okay. So you can either private message me that. I don't know if putting up over here will be sufficient for me. Maybe. Well, we'll see. Now, on Thursday, we're going to make some kind of Farbrengen or Friday. Yeah, Thursday. All right, folks. And this way we can share the nachas, great joy that we can give on high, great joy we can give to the Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe. How can we connect via Zoom? So this class I'm on Zoom, but there is not. I don't have anybody on Zoom, but for the Farbrengen, we'll be on Zoom. Could be the Farbrengen will be only on Zoom. I'm thinking about that, so that way you'll have to come that way, so we can better connect that way. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. All right, Rambam coming up. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kedoshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing